The sun was bleeding orange across the horizon, casting long, jagged shadows over the cracked asphalt of a forgotten road somewhere in the Nevada desert. Ethan Caldwell slammed the door of his sleek, black Shelby Mustang with a force that echoed his frustration, his jaw tight and his knuckles pale against the handle. The car, his pride and joy, had betrayed him, sputtering in coffin steam like a wounded animal. It didn't make sense. He'd had it tuned up just 3 weeks ago, every bolt checked, every hose replaced. Yet here he was, stranded in the middle of nowhere, the weight of his empire pressing down on him. Ethan was a man who thrived on control, CEO of Caldwell Enterprises, a name that opened doors and silenced rooms. But out here, with no cell signal and no one for miles, he was just a man staring at a broken machine, his carefully built world slipping through his fingers. He kicked the tire, the dull thud swallowed by the vast emptiness. His chest tightened with a mix of anger and helplessness, emotions he hadn't felt since he was a kid, running from a father who preferred fists to words. Ethan paced, his polished shoes scuffing the gravel, willing the horizon to offer a solution. That's when he heard it, a faint crunch, like cautious footsteps on loose stone. He spun around, ready to snap at whatever drifter had wandered too close. But the words died in his throat. Standing there was a girl, no older than 10, thin as a desert sapling. Her faded denim jacket patched with duct tape. Her dark hair was pulled into a messy braid, and her eyes sharp. Brown, and far too old for her face locked onto the Mustang's open hood. Slung over her shoulder was a battered backpack, and in her hand, a toolbox, its lid secured with a strip of silver tape. She didn't look at Ethan, not at first. She just stared at the engine, her expression a mix of curiosity and certainty. "Radiator's shot," she said, her voice clear and steady, like a mechanic twice her age. "Probably a busted hose. Can I check?" Ethan blinked, caught off guard. Part of him wanted to laugh a kid, out here, offering to fix his car. But there was something about her, the way she moved toward the hood with purpose, her small hands already reaching for the toolkit. He opened his mouth to protest, but the words didn't come. Instead, he watched as she knelt beside the car, her fingers deftly navigating the tangle of wires and metal. Her name, he'd learn later, was Lily Harper, and she was no ordinary girl. Lily's hands moved with a rhythm that spoke of years spent under hoods, not playing with dolls. Her mother, Sarah, had taught her everything: how to strip an engine, how to listen for the hum of a healthy carburetor. Sarah used to say Lily was born with grease in her veins, a gift from a father who left before Lily could even say his name. By 7, Lily could rebuild an alternator. By 9, she'd learned to survive on her own after Sarah's lungs gave out in a damp shed on the edge of town. Now, standing in front of a man who looked like he'd never touched a wrench, Lily worked with quiet focus, her lips pressed into a thin line. She didn't trust Ethan, not yet. Men like him, with their shiny cars and sharp suits, usually meant trouble, but the Mustang was hurting it, and Lily couldn't walk away from a machine in pain. "You're pushing the fan too hard," she muttered, loosening a clamp. "Gonna burn it out." Ethan crouched beside her, his skepticism giving way to curiosity. "How do you know all this?" She shrugged, not looking up. "Mom taught me, before she—" Her voice caught, and she swallowed hard. Before she was gone, that's when Ethan saw it, a glint of gold on her finger, a ring too big for her small hand, tied with a fraying thread. His breath hitched. The ruby, the worn band, the faint scratch on the setting, it was unmistakable. His heart thudded, a cold sweat prickling his skin. "That ring?" he said, his voice sharper than he meant. "Where'd you get it?" Lily froze, her hands stilling on the hose. Slowly, she stood, wiping her palms on her jeans. Her eyes met his, wary but unflinching. "It was my mom's. She said it saved her life once. Said it came from someone she loved." The words hit Ethan like a freight train. Memories flooded back nights with Sarah, her laughter, her stubborn refusal to let the world break her. He'd loved her, fiercely, back when he was just a scrappy kid with big dreams. But he'd pushed her away, blinded by ambition, choosing power over love. When she vanished 20 years ago, no note, no goodbye. He'd buried the pain under deals and skyscrapers. He'd read about her death in a small-town obituary, cried alone in a motel bathroom, believing she was gone forever. But that ring, it was hers. And this girl, "What's your name?" he asked, his voice trembling. Lily Harper. Ethan's knees buckled. Harper, Sarah's alias after she left. The ground seemed to tilt beneath him. He stared at Lily, searching her face for traces of Sarah, the same sharp jaw, the same quiet intensity. His mind raced, piecing together a truth he wasn't ready to face. Lily wasn't just a random kid. She was Sarah's daughter. And maybe God, maybe his. Lily stepped back, sensing the shift in him. She clutched her toolbox tighter, her shoulders tense. "You okay?" she asked, but her tone was guarded, like she was ready to bolt. Ethan nodded, though he was anything but okay. His hands shook as he ran them through his hair, trying to anchor himself. "Your mom, she died." Lily's face hardened, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of grief. "Last winter, pneumonia. We were in a shed, no heat. She said she only needed me." Her voice cracked, and she looked away, blinking fast. Ethan's chest ached. He knew that shed, that street, a crumbling corner of Crestwood he'd driven past 1,000 times, never looking too closely. Sarah had been there, hiding, suffering, while he sat in boardrooms, signing contracts. And now, this girl alone, carrying her mother's tools and her mother's pain, was standing in front of him, a living echo of everything he'd lost. He noticed something else then, peeking out from the side pocket of her backpack, a folded handkerchief, yellowed with age, embroidered with the initials EC, his initials. His breath caught again. What's that?" Lily hesitated, then pulled it out, unfolding it carefully. "Mom said it was important. Said to keep it safe, in case I ever met someone named Ethan." The world stopped. Ethan reached for the handkerchief, his fingers trembling. He'd left it in Sarah's bag years ago. A careless gesture during a fleeting moment of tenderness. She'd kept it, passed it down like a relic, but before he could process it, a low rumble broke the silence, a car approaching. Too slow, too deliberate. Lily's eyes widened, her body tensing like a deer sensing a predator. "They come around at sunset," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Men, bad ones. Mom said never to look at them, never say my name." Ethan's gut twisted. He glanced at the road, where a dark sedan with tinted windows crept closer, its engine purring like a threat. "Do they know you?" She nodded, her face pale. "Saw me once. Tried to grab me. I ran. They've been looking since." The sedan stopped a few yards away, its door opening with a sharp click. A man stepped out tall, gaunt, dressed in black, his face sharp and cruel. Ethan's instinct screamed. He grabbed Lily's hand, his voice low. "We're leaving. Now, my tools," she started, glancing at the ground. "Forget them." But Lily didn't move. "They're all I have from her." The man took a step forward. His eyes locked on them. Ethan yanked open the Mustang's door. The car was still a mess, but it might limp a few miles. "Get in," he barked. Lily dove inside, clutching her backpack. Ethan turned the key, the engine sputtering to life with a reluctant groan. The man quickened his pace, but Ethan floored it, the Mustang lurching forward, kicking up dust and gravel. In the rearview mirror, he saw the sedan turn, following like a shadow. Lily trembled beside him, but her face was set, anger burning through her fear. "They knew my mom," she said, her voice tight. "She said they wanted something she had, something she knew." Ethan gripped the wheel, his mind racing. "Why did she run?" "Lily, from me, from everything." She didn't answer right away, her eyes fixed on the road. Finally, she spoke, her voice soft but heavy. "She said you had an enemy, someone who hated what she found. She said she'd protect you by disappearing. Said maybe if I found you, it could all end." The words sank into Ethan like ice. Sarah hadn't left because she stopped loving him. She'd left to save him. And now, the past was hunting them both. He glanced at the fork in the road ahead, left back to town, right to a dirt trail he hadn't seen in years. A cabin, Sarah's old retreat, a place where time used to stand still. He turned right, the Mustang rattling over the uneven path. "We're going somewhere safe," he said, more to himself than to Lily. The cabin emerged from the brush, its slanted roof and weathered wood unchanged. Inside, it smelled of dust and memory. Ethan ran his hand along the doorframe, feeling Sarah's presence in every creak. Lily explored, her eyes wide. "She came here." "Yeah," Ethan said, his voice thick. "We both did. Before I ruined it." They locked the doors, shut the windows, but the forest outside felt alive. Watching, Lily fell asleep on a faded couch, her face finally soft, unburdened for a moment. Ethan stayed awake, his mind churning. Sarah's ring, her handkerchief, Lily's words. They were pieces of a puzzle he'd ignored for too long. But there was something else, something Lily wasn't saying, a secret she guarded as fiercely as her mother's tools. A snap outside jolted him upright. He grabbed an old shotgun from behind a cabinet, his hands shaking as he checked it. Stepping into the night, he scanned the darkness, the forest holding its breath. Then he saw them footprints, fresh, not his, not Lily's. He rushed back, locking the door. Lily was awake, her eyes wide with a fear she knew too well. They were here, weren't they? He nodded. We leave at dawn. The next morning, they drove to Sarah's old office at a community center in Crestwood's poorest district, a place Ethan had funded in her memory. Inside, they found a wooden box carved with an S. Lily opened it, revealing a notebook yellowed pages filled with sketches, notes, and an envelope. Ethan's hands trembled as he read Sarah's handwriting. If you're reading this, I ran out of time. They came back. Ethan, what I found at that Crestwood site wasn't just corruption. It was child trafficking. They used your company. They used your name. I ran to save Lily, but now she needs you. Protect her. Forgive me. The truth hit like a sledgehammer. Ethan's company, his legacy, had been a front for monsters. Lily flipped through the notebook, finding a floor plan of a warehouse Federal Logistics, tied to Caldwell Enterprises. She took me there once, Lily whispered. Cages, kids, men with guns. Ethan sank to the floor, his world collapsing. I didn't know, he said, his voice breaking. I swear I didn't. Lily's eyes blazed. It was your company, your name. You didn't see. The accusation cut deeper than any knife. Ethan wanted to scream, to beg for forgiveness, but Lily turned away, her silence louder than any words. They found a newspaper clipping in the notebook, a lead to a case number. Ethan knew a retired judge, Elias Kane, who could pull the file. They drove to the old courthouse, where Elias, frail but sharp-eyed, typed the number into his ancient computer. The screen lit up with names, companies, and a silent partner, Federal Logistics, registered at Ethan's headquarters. This is bigger than you think, Elias said, his voice trembling. Politicians, judges, corporations. Sarah knew. Then the screen blinked out. The lights flickered. A gunshot shattered the window. Elias collapsed, blood pooling. Ethan pulled Lily to the floor as more shots rang out. They scrambled to a basement stairwell, the darkness swallowing them. Lily shook, but her voice was steady. We don't choose who we love, but we choose what we do with it. You chose not to see, Ethan cried, the shame overwhelming. I'm guilty, Lily, for everything. In the grim basement, with sirens fading outside, they clung to Sarah's blood-stained notebook. Ethan lost everything, his friend, his illusions, maybe even Lily's trust. But she handed him a faded photo, Sarah, baby Lily, and a younger Ethan, laughing. She took it the day she left, Lily said, to remember who you were. Ethan's resolve hardened. We're going to Federal Logistics. We finish what she started. Lily nodded, a warrior's smile flickering. Together, they planned in a safe house, using Sarah's sketches. At dawn, they infiltrated Fedra through a hidden hatch, Lily's camera streaming live. Inside, they found a containment center, children in cages, a man in a lab coat waiting. Ethan Caldwell, he sneered. You brought Sarah's daughter. Cruel. Lily stepped forward. Cruel was killing her. Cruel was this. The man laughed, triggering alarms. But Lily's EMP, built from Sarah's notes, shut everything down. Doors opened. Children stirred, and the world watched the live stream. Sirens wailed, real ones this time. The man pounded the glass, trapped by his own system. Outside, Crestwood buzzed with police and reporters. Ethan and Lily sat apart, the weight of their choices settling. An Interpol agent confirmed Ethan wasn't directly linked, but he refused to walk away clean. Lily, cleared for state care, looked at him. I want somewhere Mom would have made coffee. Ethan nodded. I'll do whatever it takes. Months later, after hearings and graveside visits, Ethan gained temporary custody. Lily hummed Sarah's old folk tune in the car. a fragile thread of connection. You don't choose where you come from, she said, but you choose where you're going. Where do you want to go? Ethan asked. Somewhere with silence, but not loneliness. The Mustang roared down the highway, rebuilt, the sun casting protective shadows. Ethan glanced at Lily, the road ahead long but shared. Hey, if this story hit you, don't miss the next one. Click the thumbnail, hit subscribe to H Stories, and share this with someone who needs a spark. I'll see you there.